Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
I'm just, trying to find a place with like-minded people to talk about like-minded things about me, about poop and stuff.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
Oh man, what's this right here? Is this a podcast about poop?
And now, Shooting the Shit with Dave and Ellen.
Dad, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's the most important part.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, everybody. You now know what our theme is today.
Welcome to the show, Shooting the Shit.
The theme is you.
Oh, I'm me?
You're our special guest. We have a very, very special guest today. Ellen's dad, Jerry.
Jerry Stagg is in the house.
Welcome to the show. We'll add in some more applause.
Yeah.
I can't clap for myself.
No, you shouldn't clap for yourself.
No, we got you. We'll take care of that. This is very exciting. Welcome.
This is the man who has taught me how important farts really are. He's shaking his head yes. So
he showed you everything that you've ever.
He made me smell them all.
Yes. Showing you the ways.
He showed me those stinky ways. So welcome to Shooting the Shit with
Dave
and Ellen. And before we go into interviewing my father, we are going to do our normal check-in. So Dad, since you're our guests, I need to ask you, how have your poops been recently?
Well, they're in pretty good shape.
They are?
Yeah, every day they come on haul.
On the Bristol stool chart, do you know which they look like?
The longer ones.
Number 4?
Well, little bumps on them.
So number 3.
Yeah, that's close.
That's okay. That's a good one.
Or a
Pretty
number
healthy.
2.
Or number 2. Oh, that means you need more water.
Oh, well, then it's somewhere in between 2 and 3.
No.
2.5. Well, it's a good thing I gave you that water before we we started. So
Yeah.
Water is good for loosening the stool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And how often do you think you poop a day? Once?
once.
Once?
Normally.
In the morning?
Not always.
Oh.
No.
Sometimes
it delays.
It changes up. Did you poop this morning?
Yep.
Well, that's good.
took care of that.
I should have left it so you could appreciate it.
Well, I'm so glad you didn't, but...
Oh, well, I'll make sure
this...
to do it. I'm going to be here 2 more days, so I can save a lot of them.
You have so much more to look forward to.
Oh, I just realized I opened up a big can of worms.
No, it's not worms.
Well, yeah. It actually looks a little bit more like a bunch of grapes than worms.
Yeah, right. The ass goblins.
The ass goblins. Yes, my dad is staying with me for a couple days because his wife, my stepmom, said I need a break. So my brother and I are splitting him up. And so hopefully he won't show me his poo. But now that we are talking about it, I might have an update.
Yeah, that would be a great, for the next episode. You can give us, some feedback, background.
Exactly.
What happened, a recap.
I'll fill you in if something gets left behind.
No, totally. Oh my God, it's so funny.
And Dave, how have you been doing recently?
Again, pretty normal. Although I feel like I had some... Oh, we met up Monday.
Uh-huh.
Or a few days ago. And we ordered some Thai food, Ellen and I. And it did not sit well with me afterwards. It was just...
You were sitting in it.
Yeah, almost. No, I couldn't leave the house. I mean, I was just there was a lot of mixtures. It was a lot of just badness.
I forgot what you ordered. Do you think there was one thing in particular that...
Well, I usually don't ever get rice, like a fried rice thing. I get a noodle thing, I'm like, I'm gonna try this fried rice thing. And it just did not sit well. And it also said spicy. It wasn't really spicy. I don't know, just the mixture of whatever was in that
fried
rice dish. I mean, it was delicious going down, but not coming out. It was horrible. I think I texted you. I'm like, I've gone to the bathroom 3 times since you left.
Yeah, which was like within an hour.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
I've been pretty normal recently. I had one this morning also. I didn't leave it for anybody to see. God bless. That's the one thing I love about the Bristol stool chart is we can describe it by numbers, not by pictures.
Exactly.
But I think I was constipated yesterday, which having my dad staying with me has been an adventure. I enjoy seeing him, but yesterday morning we spent over an hour trying to look for his pills. I moved furniture around, and I think my stress levels went up so high that I got constipated.
You got backed up?
I did. I couldn't have my normal, like, relax and poo kind of moment. And then we went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I was almost positive that I'd poo there, and surprisingly I didn't.
Wow. You should have gone to a Home Depot.
I know, right?
Your daughter really, she just goes, every time she goes into a Home Depot, she has to go. Or at Staples or
Which actually
Office
reminds
Depot.
me. Do you know what's funny? I actually went to a Lowe's recently and didn't have to poo. So it's not all home improvement stores. It's only Home Depot that's a pile of shit.
They're just pumping something through the vents there.
Right? The Lowe's I did not have to poo in, but the Home Depot most definitely. And Target.
Oh, yeah.
That was a little wet.
I actually hit the wrong sound effect. So,
That was
but
not
we'll take
like
it.
my poo.
Yeah. So that wasn't you. That wasn't at Lowe's or Home Depot. But
So the theme today is my father. Dad, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well,
You grew up?
I grew up and I somehow pooped all day. And as the older I got, the more I added farts.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
Wait, so let's start from the beginning. You grew up in Connecticut.
yeah.
You went to school and then it was in the Navy.
oh,
Well, that was
a naval man.
after college and all that stuff.
But yeah, you did high school and college. You graduated from Brown University when it was all boys.
Yep.
There wasn't any girls there.
Wow.
Well, they were there, but they couldn't go above the first floor.
Oh.
And everything. So, that's where they were all.
Oh. I thought it was all boys back then, though. It wasn't a co-ed school.
When you invited the girls, somehow they made it to the second floor.
Oh. You're saying that they were there by invitation, but they weren't attending Brown University.
No, they were. It was a partying.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. And then after college, you went into the Navy for 3 years, and you were there 3.5.
They had me for the first half year, making a gentleman out of me.
Oh.
Yeah, and
gentleman, then an officer.
that I was an officer.
You were like that's what they based the Richard Gere character off of.
Exactly.
Yeah, they called me aside once, and they said that I had done this wrong and that wrong and all that. And I said, geez, that's awful. They said, you're going to be a terrible officer. And the funny thing was that my second ship, I was the best officer on the whole ship.
Wow, they didn't know.
So I didn't go back to tell them that I was able to do something nice.
And then, so you were there from 62 to 65?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you got out, then you started working for the family business.
Yeah.
Which was industrial supply.
Yeah.
And then you retired around 65? You were 65 years old?
No. What happened was the company was owned by my father and my uncle. Mm-hmm. And the uncle was nice, but unfortunately his son that he wanted to make president really couldn't even pass 5th grade. And so he had...
Your cousin.
That's pretty much symptomatic of this country.
he lacked something between the ears. I don't know what it was. So I bought them all out. And we were the second largest or third largest in Connecticut. And by the time I did stuff, we were the second largest in New England.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Nice.
people came in, and in 1997, I'd had my best year, and I couldn't wait for 1998. And then somebody came in 1998 and offered me 8 times what it was worth. It was crazy. And so I had to sit there for a few minutes and decided that maybe I should take this money.
Yeah.
And it was great because obviously 4 to 6 years later, manufacturing all went away in the United States, and I would have been bankrupt.
Wow.
So I was very lucky.
Lucky.
Right place, right time.
I
Yeah.
had a lot of borrowed a lot of money to expand it, and this thing I never could have paid it back.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
been bankrupt, and I would have had to.
You would have shit the bed.
My daughter take care of me, and it would have been God.
And I can barely take care of myself.
What, on the toilet or else?
Both. I did work for my dad as a receptionist for like 2 summers in a row when I was 16 and 17. And I do remember, and the receptionist, the desk for the receptionist was maybe 30 feet away from your office.
Yeah.
And my dad had a private bathroom in his office. And I
Ooh.
remember going in there once and it smelled so bad. Obviously, you dropped a lot of number 2s in that bathroom.
Of industrial waste.
Yes, literally.
Well, I saved it for you. Think I had to share these things. You don't know.
She's gonna use this one day
Yeah.
for a podcast.
But back when you were working at Hawley, you had your own bathroom,
Oh yeah,
and you used to drop a lot of bombs in that bathroom,
of
right?
course.
Yeah.
Why not? I couldn't do it on my desk.
Well,
That would have been interesting, but you're the boss.
It was better to have it in there.
Yeah.
yes. I just remember going in there. There was a public, not public, but like a bathroom for everybody else in the office to use. And I went into his
we had
to try to see.
Male and a female.
Yeah, yes.
This was
With
not,
many
we were
stalls.
very-
But I went in to see his private which was the tiniest. It was literally a closet with a toilet in it.
Still private though. That's great.
Yeah.
Well-
but it was, woo! The smell is wafting from there.
Well, it's just more. It's just intensified because it's so small, right?
Yes.
You didn't have the space to let it kind of dissipate.
Exactly. There was no window. In
No,
that
well, there you
tiny-
go.
Oh,
It's
no
even.
window.
Yeah.
It's like a torture chamber.
Yes, 100%. And then my dad now lives in Massachusetts with my stepmom.
Excuse me.
And you are retired. Anything else you want to tell us about your life?
Well, it's sad now. I'm approaching 80.
That's not sad.
That's not sad.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that a couple of years ago, I used to play a lot of golf, and now I've got a problem in my back. A couple of them, and discs are out of the way. So, I'm not doing that anymore.
But you and all of our family have lived, if you hit 80, you've lived the longest out of everybody.
I had a grandfather
Oh.
who lived to be over 80, and he was a great guy.
Oh, on your dad's side or your mom's side?
Mom's side.
Clayton Lusk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clayton Lusk was actually a New York senator.
He
There's
was
a-
the head of the New York Senate,
Yeah.
and they wanted to make him governor, but he said no.
Oh, wow.
And they said, why won't you do it? And he said, because you don't pay me anything. He went back to being a lawyer.
This is in the early 1900s when politicians didn't make money being
Yeah, right.
politicians.
Oh, nothing.
There's more civic duty.
Yeah, he did it as a civic duty, and he went back to duty. And then he went back to being a lawyer to take care of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. How politicians should be: shorter terms,
Yep.
Yeah.
civic duty, less money in their pockets, and caring about the humans.
Yeah.
But anyway, this isn't about a political podcast. This is a poopy
Well, I
podcast.
don't know about his pops and poops. I have no
That's
idea.
okay.
That wasn't
He was a little bit more reserved.
He's more backed up.
He was a good guy. But I don't know. He never discussed such things.
So where
sure.
did you get your potty humor from? Because from the beginning of my time on this earth, I remember you being interested in potty humor. Like, I remember, well, I don't remember, but I was told that you would come home from work and my mother would tell you to pay attention to me in the bassinet, and what would you do?
Well, I would. Occasionally, I farted at you.
Yeah, right in my face. Right in my baby face. Ooh.
Yeah.
I wish I had a baby sound effect.
It was a great thing, but it was.
But obviously, since the beginning of time, I equated farts with love.
Oh,
yeah.
No, they were. You know, we were all could have contests that we had.
That is hilarious, by the way. I mean, that's like a very like. It just cracks me up. You farting in Ellen's baby face. You know, you're trying to get the whole family involved. It's a.
No, it was, yeah.
But what were these contests?
My ex-wife didn't appreciate some of the things that I was doing.
Oh, I'm sure.
What were the contests you were just talking about? Was there flatulence contests?
Not that I know. No.
Oh, you just said something about a contest.
Oh no. Well.
A contest with yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Just no.
I remember you used to fart in my face, and then I don't personally remember. I remember you telling me the story. But then you said that there was one time I was sleeping in the bed with you and Mom when I was very little, and I woke up in the middle of the night, pulled my pants down, and farted in your face.
Well, that I'm not sure of.
Oh.
But that's
Revenge.
to be honest.
I remember you telling me a story like that, and I was like, well, obviously I had to give it back.
Well, I don't know.
It's like Jedi training.
Right?
Even the German Shepherds slept up with the room, and they would occasionally stink it up.
Yeah.
And German Shepherds can really stink up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dog farts are pretty bad.
Yeah. Especially if they eat cheese.
Ugh.
Oh, cheesy dog farts. Worst. So, Dad, do you remember when you were little with my Aunt Susan, with your sister? Do you remember any potty things happening? Did you fart in your Aunt Susan? I remember you telling me a story about somebody mailing farts.
Yeah. When you sent a card or something, it said there was a fart inside.
Who was mailing farts, though?
What? Well, you didn't even actually do it because it would go away. But you could do it.
But you would pretend to, would really fart in the envelope, seal it up, and mail it to somebody. Yeah. You did this.
Oh, that's very good.
Each one of the essence, of the farts.
I mean, I remember my brother. He would get home from school before me when he was in junior high and I was in high school, and he would fart in a Tupperware. And that you could actually save it in.
Oh.
And then I would come home, sit down on the couch to watch TV, and he would open the Tupperware in my face, and it was just like a fart bomb.
Oh.
He thought that was hilarious, and
I mean, it is pretty hilarious, but that's
hilarious and disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Oh, it's very nice, especially when you can get a whole one of the graves. There, we would have they had a good time.
They did.
Kids being kids.
You were telling me a story the other day about Jared's birthday party with the whoopee cushions.
Oh, that was a great occasion. We had a party for his class immediately where we were at my warehouse, and I had hidden a bunch of whoopee cushions.
Like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so everybody got that, and they thought it was great. And my then wife had a fit about what was going on. But I said, well, we should have a good time. And we went off to the pizza place. And my ex-wife said, they can't bring those whoopee cushions in. Well, I looked at them all and I said, bring them. So we had, and it was a pretty big pizza place. Had 40 people or so could get into it. And they all had their whoopee cushions. And so they wandered around and they went up behind all of the people sitting there eating pizzas and using them.
Blowing them up and farting them out?
Yeah. So meanwhile, my ex-wife was having a fit and getting worse and saying it was just so awful. And then an hour and a quarter, half, maybe later, when we were all through with pizza, we were getting to leave, and the other people who had been there, they came over to the table. my ex-wife was going, "Oh my God." And they said, "This is the funniest place we've ever been. We were laughing, and it was just fantastic. What happened?" No. So realizing it was as wonderful as that, I would, the kids would go to movies with me, and I'd give them the whoopee cushions, and they could entertain people. And they would go into the restrooms, and make sure that when somebody came in, there was a good noise coming out.
I appreciate that.
It was all, that was, this was really, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you encouraged whoopee cushion activity for me and my brother when we were little.
Well, and a lot of people, because it was funny.
Yeah. Farts are funny.
Yeah, farts are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost all.
Yeah. I mean, there's some there.
Well, the only time they're not
especially
funny.
it's not all gas.
Exactly. That's when it's not funny, when it's a shart.
Yeah.
When you squeeze out a fart and something extra comes out.
Fear of the
That I
sharts.
didn't know. Jeez.
Hand me that. That's my toy. Do you see it looks like a whoopee cushion?
Why did you put it in front of me?
Because I wanted to show you it.
But you left it in front of me.
I know, and then I lost it because it got behind the Squatty Potty unicorn.
Oh, and I should.
We have all the props here
We do.
at Shooting the Shit
So you
Studios.
don't-
I bring a bag of toys with me.
But I love it, though. It's so fun.
God,
It's
you
just
took
set
it
the
away
mood.
from me. I was getting ready to use it.
Oh.
No.
Dad, I'm going to ask you some questions we usually ask normal guests.
Normal. What are you accusing
Our
me of?
usual, our regular
Are you
guests.
calling him abnormal?
Yes. Dad, do you know when you hang the toilet paper on the roll?
Yeah.
Do you like it where the toilet paper hangs over towards you or under? Or do you have a preference?
It doesn't make a big difference.
Oh, well.
The
He's
fact
one of the
The only thing is, it's nice it's there.
well, yeah.
Exactly.
But that's the important part.
Yeah.
You want to have it.
Yeah.
A fresh roll.
And
Yes.
sometimes, in different places, I can remember when I go to France and there was nothing but newspapers, and they put pages of newspapers in the toilet.
And you had to wipe with that?
Yeah, that was what they had. They didn't even had, that was after 61 or something.
Ugh.
They didn't have any toilet paper.
Draconian.
In France, they had it in other countries. But
So this
France
is when you
didn't
were
have them.
just before the Navy, because you went and traveled
Yeah.
around Europe with a
Okay.
friend.
For 6 months I was running around there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then you had to wipe with newspaper. Did the newspaper print get all over your butt?
No, what actually happened was, understanding it, I carried some toilet paper in my pocket.
Oh, then you had backup.
That's smart.
Just in
Yeah,
case. That's very
No,
smart.
it was crazy to be using newspapers.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Why bother?
I know what kind of toilet paper you use at home because your wife has given me a roll of it, the bamboo toilet paper.
Oh, I don't remember this.
Well, it's okay. Judy has introduced me to, and it's very nice toilet paper.
It's luxurious.
That's the stuff that's the house?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the only problem with the bamboo toilet paper is the price range is very, very high. So I'm hoping that enough people buy it over a period of time and the price range can come down a little.
It's a little pricey, but excellent.
Judy recently gave me 3 rolls of it, and I gifted one to Dave.
That's right. Yeah. Because we gave
because she buys it by the case because I think it ends up being cheaper that way.
Yeah. Buy in bulk.
Yeah. Because I think the only way I've never seen bamboo toilet paper in a store. I've only seen it online.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully it'll get out to the masses. I mean, my suggestion would be to cut down on the actual paper wrapping budget and just go for a simple, just white paper.
Yes.
They'll probably cut down on some costs.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, it's cheaper if it just have newspaper there.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want newsprint
I'm not
all
going
over
back.
my
Yeah,
butt.
no, I don't need to have the New York Times.
Well, I've never inspected it after use.
Did you ever fart in your sister's face when you were little?
Of course.
Of course.
I mean, come on. That's
this is all
101.
Was Susan would she get mad at you?
No.
She thought it was funny?
Well, no, she was sort of polite about it.
You're like, ooh, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, that's okay.
Did Susan
He's
ever-
just,
Did Susan ever
thing.
fart in your face?
Not that I remember.
Oh. But you enjoyed farting in Susan's face.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
You were an older brother by 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years and 3 months.
Yes. And what about your dad or your mom? Did they think farts were funny?
There was no discussion of it.
Right.
And but there were certain kind of things you couldn't even bring to the table. And I was ejected from the dining room and had to eat with the kitchen.
If you farted?
Yeah. If I was doing something, I was told to go into the kitchen and sit with the cook and the maid.
You were constantly doing stuff that was considered naughty.
Well, I did the things that I thought was funny.
Yes.
God,
He was
that
the class clown. So to speak.
And that's great. I mean, you were ahead of your time back then. They didn't really.
Well, you told me that in
you were serving up.
high school, you class clowned so much that the principal said you weren't going to get into Yale.
Well, I misbehaved. And I was. And then I found out they said Yale came to find out, and I didn't want to go to Yale because it was too close to where I lived, and I knew my father would be in my hair, and so I didn't even want to go there. But the headmaster was a substitute and just an idiot. They got rid of him. Got to go to. This was at Hotchkiss, and so, but I found out that he did not recommend me for Yale. And so I went into the office with him and I said, and he said, well, we can't recommend everybody. And I said, okay. And he said, well, what about else? He said, any other college in the world. But they wouldn't go to do it a lot.
He's like, not Yale.
They go to Yale. And it was a place I never wanted to go to. It was too
Well,
close.
worked out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was too close. And, and I wanted a college that was on a city. But not enormous. New York was too much for me, and Boston and all that. And Providence just fit and it was far enough away. Before the highway was built, it would take 4 hours to get there from my house. So my father was not in my hair.
Well, hey, I mean, Brown's a great school.
Yes.
And I feel like it's just very apropos for what we're talking about.
Like, yeah. What's the color of poo?
I never thought.
Full circle.
I'll tell you.
But you went to an all-boys high school and an all-boys college. And there must have been a lot of farts happening.
I
Kinda goes without
can't remember
saying.
that being a big deal.
Oh.
No, it was
Simpler time back then.
no, we were. Well, I was in trouble all the time for things I was doing, but not for farting.
Well, that's good. And what about Gertrude?
Who's Gertrude?
Gertrude is the woman that, when my dad was 9 and my aunt was 7, my grandmother hired to help cook for the house.
And she was the cook.
Yeah, and then she ended up being not my biological grandmother, but my brother and I adopted her as a grandmother because our biological grandparents died when we were really young. And my dad bought her a house and took care of her.
Oh,
yeah.
that's sweet.
But Gertrude and you and Susan were all good friends.
Of course.
Did she thought farts were funny?
I don't think we got into that program. I behaved better with her.
Oh, well, that's
Right,
good.
right.
That was always been it because she was wonderful.
I remember she was wonderful. My mom, that's the grandma who I told you about that scooped her nail into my diaper.
God, it's so disgusting. Yeah.
From our first
You told me
episode,
that.
The Origins, listen to that episode if you need the full story. But my mother said that she would see if I had a dirty diaper when I was a baby by scooping poop out.
Oh.
You don't remember that?
I wasn't there for that.
Mom
Nor
said,
was I doing it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't change diapers.
No.
No.
I may have changed once or twice for some reason, but really not.
So maybe one of my diapers and one of my brother's diapers, and that was the end.
You're like, what's this all about?
Maybe.
You're like,
Yeah, if
nope.
it didn't come out of the head. It was, No, but actually, no. It may have been only once. You know, it wasn't an active.
It wasn't something that you
I did one thing to you.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. That was a good one.
I was a month and a half years old, and my mom's Irish, and so my dad decided to play a prank on her by taking green food coloring and paint a shamrock on my stomach and my toes green. But if you guys know what food coloring does, a little bit goes a very long way.
Oh, yeah.
And so basically the shamrock turned into a green blob, and my whole baby feet were, and I'm a month and a half, so I'm tiny. And he painted it before he went to work and then put me back in my diaper and onesie, and she came out to like get the baby out of the bed.
The first thing she was doing was calling, me, now stop and say goodbye to your daughter and all that. And I said, oh, I haven't got time for that at all. And then I got into the office and I said, the phone's going to ring.
You're like, don't answer that. Don't pick up.
And yeah, my mom
She's gonna be
opened up
pissed.
the pajamas, and there I was with a great big green spot on my stomach, and she had no idea what was going on.
She kept
what the
pull
fuck?
it all out, wondering if what I'd done to her. No,
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And with food
That's funny,
coloring,
Jerry.
you're just washing me off. It spread
doesn't.
even
Yeah.
more and more.
So now you're just
Spread,
green.
she was
You're
green.
like a Martian baby. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Dad, have you ever had an accident? Have you ever pooped your pants?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody does it.
Exactly.
Once.
Yeah,
More than
you
once.
learn that. Well, it's like some weird stomach thing.
The
Do
word
you have
is-
any memorable accidents you want to admit to any of us?
I don't know any of it. I sort of tried to avoid them.
Well, we all do.
Yeah,
But
but
once
when
in a
I've
while.
avoided it, I sort of forgotten it.
Oh.
Just put it out of your head. Yeah.
No, that wasn't a big deal. My
Our-
whole life.
Our second episode was
Yeah.
about our accident
Accidents.
stories. So I talked about my accidents.
Oh,
Yeah.
They happen.
Yeah.
which one?
Which accident?
Yeah.
When I was with my friend Hillary,
Uh,
and I got sick when we were walking around this place in Connecticut, and I went to go to the public bathroom, and there was a huge line, and I couldn't help it.
oh yeah.
I pooped my pants,
It happens.
and it was a Bristol number 7 full.
Oh,
Oh,
that's no bueno.
There's
That
no
is
stopping
that's like
that.
complete. That's a disaster. That's like FEMA level response.
Dad, have you ever used a bidet? You never used a bidet
I must have.
in Europe?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
must have.
Yeah. They're fantastic.
Yes, we're big fans of
Highly
the bidet.
recommend it. Anybody out there, get one
Yes,
or a tushy.
yes.
God, you were talking about it. Oh, I have forgotten all that entirely.
Oh, well, I have the bidet built into my toilet, but you're probably very used to dry wiping in your
Yeah.
79 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a big
Old
problem.
Maybe. I don't know. But thanks for reminding me. Maybe in the next 100 years I'll
Use
Yeah.
another
maybe
bidet.
there's a- yeah.
Exactly. It's like just trying new things. That's all it's about.
I do also remember you had a pillow for your lower back that you would drive around with. It was in the car.
Yeah.
And my brother and I once fought over that pillow to try to sleep on it, and it was a styrofoam sponge of farts. That
Oh.
thing smelled.
It just kept all that odor in there.
Yeah. Do you remember that pillow? Your lumber?
Because my back was hurting, and I had to drive up to. I used to drive a business up to 45,000 miles a year.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
And they didn't have adjustable seats the way they had it now, so I had to throw a pillow in there and put it in my back just so I could keep going.
And it's inches away from your butt, so it just filled up with farts.
Yes, I'm sure. But they didn't get to the gas tank, so it was
Well, that's good.
It's a different kind of gas tank.
Methane. If only cars could run on methane
Yeah.
gas.
yeah. Then they'd have a new thing where they have a new hose somewhere in this thing to save money.
Between you and me, if we could run a car on methane gas, we'd never have to pay for gas.
Oh yeah, ever.
Yeah.
You can get to California and back on one trip.
So this is a question we love to ask our guest, Dad. If you have to go very, very badly, number 2, and
Like
you're
total emergency. Like
Emergency.
Like it's coming out.
you're sick, but there's no toilet in sight. Do you poop in your pants, or do you find a place on the ground to poop, aka the floor?
Well, I can say both.
You have done both.
Yeah, depending.
And tell me about when you pooped on the ground.
Well, it misses. You pull your pants down, they're still there, because it's an emergency. So sometimes it misses.
It's a little bit of both.
So it's a little. But when you've pooped on the ground, has it been like out in public?
Oh no! I go behind a tree or something.
Yeah,
well, that's good. Yeah.
Or a bush or.
Yes.
That's a general consensus of that question.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we prefer not to poop in our pants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's in an emergency. Strange things happen.
That they do. That they do.
Are there any products that you like or anything that has helped you pooping in the past?
Oh, not really. I don't think.
Do you use Lysol? Do you use matches to help hide the stink, or you just
No.
after you're done you enjoy people smelling
You just
your
want
stink?
them to kind of celebrate in what you your gift.
It's occasionally I've said, I don't think I'd go in there now.
A courtesy.
I mean,
I mean,
that's
you
why I
you
had a
live in
nice
a proper
private toilet, in business.
Yes.
That's all.
That seems to be key.
But in the house that you live in with my stepmom now, there's 4 toilets, if I can remember correctly.
Maybe. Yeah.
Is there like one that you're told that's your toilet, that's your room to do number 2 in, so your wife
No.
doesn't smell it? You've done it in all 4.
Yeah, but I tend to stay away from the one I know she goes to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yes.
I consider it.
Consider it. I like that.
Yeah, but I don't. If it's an emergency, anywhere.
Yeah, the closest one.
Better than your pants.
When my yeah.
Do you have any questions for my dad?
I mean, actually, do you have any toilet paper preferences? Like, do you
yeah.
like thick, thin, or does whatever's on the roll?
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever's available.
Except the newspaper is done.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
That's.
yeah, of course.
Do you know?
I don't know. It was all I had in France, and that's all they had. It was they had a big nail in the toilet, and you they push it down pages from the newspapers
From the day before?
That was
Oh.
yeah. Well, that was just so you could just pull off a page.
Oh,
I mean, I
that's
guess
so
so.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, that just sounds. Oh man, that sounds rough.
That's
Well,
like
the French were rough.
But they also
elegant food.
Well,
but they're you go down the street. The guys pissed right on right on the toilets, right on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. But there was a little wall around it. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, you could wave at somebody at the same time you were taking a leak. That was
Hello.
yeah.
But the French,
They didn't wave back mostly.
the French invented the bidet, so maybe that's why they would prefer to use a bidet over the newspaper.
Maybe.
I'm not. I wasn't just studying all of this. I was.
You weren't doing any research, or
No, I was.
I mean, I was in France
Going with the flow.
and over the fall last year, and they've since no more newspaper.
That's good.
But they still. Do they still have them right on the sidewalk anywhere?
The urinals.
I think they probably should.
I mean, I don't. I think they legalized the whole like sort of pissing in public kind of thing, or urination.
Oh yeah, well they don't mind.
Yeah, but I mean, it was definitely like here in New York, there's definitely a strong urine smell. A lot of places, depending where you went.
Well,
but they have like these new sort of like tech bathrooms, like these public ones that are self-cleaning. So after each use, that it sort of like wipes itself down, and those are pretty nice.
They've moved ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
They had.
I mean, it was lovely.
Entering
I
the
used one. It
21st
was
century.
Yeah, it was like brand new. It was free. There was no there's a bit of a line, but when you got in there, it was great.
Did you make one or two in there?
I did one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I still had that's. I mean, granted, it's way better than anything here. Yeah, I just had to take a piss.
Well, her brother was 3.5 years old when he got to France, and there, the men had to go. They just turned around to the highway and just took a leak, and it was all this stuff. So then he comes back, and he goes to the country club, to the pool. And he just pees on the poles. He said, "You can't do that here." And he's peeing on poles. And he said, "What do you mean? In France, they do this."
He's like, "I got this, Dad."
Yeah, he went around. I said,
"Don't worry about it."
I said, "Oh, poles and all this." And I said, "You can't do it. Here, not here."
Oh my God, that's funny.
He learned a bad habit from France.
Yeah.
Well, he thought it was funny, so.
When you were in the Navy, you lived on a boat for many years.
Sure.
Pooping on the boat was okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We had toilets.
Well, thank God.
All you did was just flush and it went out into the ocean.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depended. In certain areas, it went into a special tank, and then it was
right
when you
when you docked, they kind of just took care of it.
Then they took it away.
Right.
But how many men were on the boat?
The destroyer had 200 crew. The destroyer, we had 25 officers there, and we only had one shower.
I was like, I'm going to destroy this toilet.
And two urinals and two urinals and one or two toilets.
Who cleaned the toilets?
The water really squirted out hard, because it was going right out into the ocean.
A lot of pressure.
So yeah,
like an airplane.
Airplane.
You like a toilet on the airplane? It flushes like boom.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't quite that big a boom. And it was, but I'll never forget one time that I go down there in the destroyer, and everybody was seasick on those because they were, they hadn't been used to waves and the ship leaning halfway over for it was a. So
that sounds like a nightmare.
So, but I came down one time, and there were two officers that were training, and one of them there were two toilets beside each other, and
no wall.
There was a wall,
okay.
but underneath, and so, but one had, when you, as an officer, took a job, you had 4 hours you had to work, and then somebody else came on and took you. And then they did their 4 hours, and it was always you told the person where you were, what you were doing, and you would say, okay, and the other person would say, I relieve you, and I said, okay, I stand relieved. So these two guys throwing up in the toilet, each side. One of them said, I relieve you. The other one said, all right, I stand relieved. Because they were supposed to be on the bridge, and they were down throwing up.
So well,
they were literally relieved.
That was
you're saying.
Yeah, but they weren't farting, I don't think.
It's better than diarrhea.
Yeah, no.
That came later?
No, I don't know. Oh, God. What?
Yeah, okay. Do you have any other stories you want to share about poops or farts from your lifetime?
I don't know. Remind me.
Oh, I don't know. I do know that you had a collection of tchotchkes that you've had over the years. They were like little statues of men that you pulled a string and a wiener would come out.
Yeah.
And then you had a thing that was like a can of poop, moose poop. And you had a box of these things that recently...
I still got them somewhere.
Oh, no, I think the box was lost in that rental car. Oh. That's what Judy, your wife, told me.
Oh, I think some of them are still in a closet.
Oh, well then,
we gotta find
when I come and visit over the summer...
Let's inspect it.
Yeah.
I think I saw some of them in one place.
I mean, one of my favorite things you do is you always send me a card on every holiday. And usually the card is very fart-centric. Yeah.
Well, so you gotta have some things that are not very nice for your birthday.
Well, But the last card you sent me for St. Patrick's Day was
Oh, wow.
a dog farting rainbows.
Yeah?
Oh,
This
I saw the card.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I saw the card. It was really funny.
Yeah,
I think I posted it on the
Yeah.
Instagram page.
that's a great one.
And it said, "May your St. Patrick's Day be more magical than a dog farting rainbows."
Yeah.
I at least...
What, the best part was like how it was signed.
Oh, yeah. And then you signed it, guess who?
Oh, of course.
Genius.
But yeah, you do think farts are funny.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just wondering if you wanted to add anything, because we're going to go into our next segment on the radio show where we can complain about stuff.
Oh, well, you could complain about what I've said, so
Oh.
could proceed.
I mean, my dad is a very different guest from our last guest,
yeah, like 180.
but it's still enjoyable.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's just a little bit slower of a pace.
A little different.
Yeah.
That's all.
We had it at an 11 last time.
Yeah, this is a nice like kind of ease back into the show. Last week was intense.
I'm not normal?
No, you're very normal.
You're very normal.
Oh, good.
Last week was not normal. Well, I mean, I guess
well-
depending what sorry, I shouldn't say that. It depends on what you consider normal.
Yes.
But for a lot of people, they might consider it a little.
I think it was an educational, intense
Yes.
moment. We learned a lot, but what we learned on our last episode is vastly different from what
Yeah.
we've learned on this episode.
If you're listening to this now, go back and listen to episode 10 because it's a doozy. But yeah, we're gonna get into this segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for Let's Get Shitty!
Our favorite segment.
This is our segment where we bitch and complain about something that's shitty. So I forgot to... it's not necessarily a shitty moment, but as I mentioned before, I did go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art with my father yesterday, which was lovely. I haven't been there in a couple of years. And if any of you have been there or any kind of big, huge museum, there's gallery after gallery, room after room, and people walk around and they're usually like, if they're talking, it's a low level, not like a whisper, but
Yeah.
they're not loud about it and everybody's enjoying the art. At the very least 3 times in an hour and a half, my dad would walk from one gallery to the other and just rip the largest fart. And I would be standing maybe 20, 30 feet away from him.
You maybe smelled it, but I didn't think I was smell.
I didn't smell it, God bless. I heard it.
At least that's
And
better.
the other people around us would turn around and look. And I was like, are you pushing them out intentionally? And you were like, well, some of them I am.
Yeah, some of those people are a little stuffy.
Yeah. But that was fun. You kept the farts going at the museum.
Or apropos.
Yeah.
for
I mean,
today's
if we were
episode.
at something like a baseball game with all the cheering, you could fart through that and nobody would hear it. But a museum is a little bit more silent, so these farts were not silent.
Well, I'm not aware of that.
But I mean, I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything. I am excited about getting to a place in my years of life where I don't care about farting in public. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's so
That's
like
a freedom.
yeah, it's kind of like, you know what? I'm here. This is what I do. I'm at a point in my life where these things don't matter to me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's
fuck
the
it.
opposite of a let's get shitty moment. That's
Yeah.
like a
It's
let's
a
get
celebratory.
farty and who cares?
Yeah. It's a celebration.
Yeah. But talking about farts, my let's get shitty moment is I was laying in bed this morning, waking up with the alarm clock, and I had this shooting pain in my side. And it like, I literally had to be like, ow. I had to make a noise, and it ended up
baby
being
noise.
a fart.
Oh,
But it literally felt like knife was stabbing me.
I've had those, yeah.
That's the...
That's pretty
especially
bad.
waking up in the morning, like, that's the first thing to...
Yeah. It's not a pleasant wake-up experience.
I wonder, I mean, like, it wasn't like shit pains. It was literally just a fart passing through. I wonder why gas sometimes does that.
It's the pressure keeps building, I guess.
Yeah, just like literally tears its
piercing.
way. Yes.
Yeah. No. I've had those on airplanes before. It's a nightmare.
Oh, airplane farts are the funniest.
And I haven't got to that point where I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna let this rip on an airplane. I'll also have a blanket or something over me, and I kind of like just I dole it out in sections. installments.
Trap it with the blanket.
Yeah, I try to, and like I'm thinking I'm being slick, and people are probably like, "Oh my god, it fucking reeks on this plane." Which it does.
No, but everybody's farting on a plane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a giant tube of farts.
Yeah,
We
'cause
talked
they'll-
about that
they
on-
blow away.
Yeah. Well, no, they stay in the plane.
I think you just get used to the smell. Like you just become so used to the funk.
Sucked away.
Yeah.
But as we talked on the Evil Hate Monkey episode, that when you get on a plane, you're like a bag of potato chips and you like fill up almost with air.
It's like
so
bloat.
the air has to go somewhere.
Yeah. It's going out in that tube. Tube with wings.
But yeah, I want to ask a doctor why gas pains can sometimes be that stabby.
Wow.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
What about you? What's your shitty moment of the week?
I don't know. I was trying to think about this. Oh, I had to use a public bathroom the other day, and I just don't understand why. I mean, any public. I can imagine, like, if we're talking about like actual like women's bathrooms versus men's bathrooms, but either it doesn't matter which bathroom we're talking about. A public restroom are the worst places, like on earth. Like for some reason, people just lose their minds. There's no sense of decency. There's everything's wet, everything's gross. People leave stuff there. It's just like you would think that a person using a public bathroom had never. It's like an alien that had never used a bathroom before.
Where was this public bathroom?
It was at a restaurant, which was really weird because the restaurant was actually kind of nice, and I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant. And I was shocked at how like gross it was.
Wait, was it a one staller? Was there multiple stalls?
It was like a one room, like like
just a one room.
Yeah, like
when it was co-ed.
Yeah, that one was co-ed. The one I was talking about.
And
but yeah.
how was it so bad?
It was just like papers everywhere on the floor. The seat was completely wet.
Oh,
with what I don't know. Luckily, I had to just do number one. There was no soap in the dispenser, which drives me crazy. And then like they do that. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I like to use the sort of air.
The
air dryer.
Yeah.
Dry my hands off. But they had that old style like crank one from like
Oh, I've never seen that.
Like, you have to crank out your own paper towel.
Oh.
And
I thought you were saying crank air.
Oh no! Sorry.
I've never seen an air.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Like an air horn. No, it was like a little crank paper towel thing to dry your hands off, and that little tiny like rusty patinaed brown handle that I don't know. Apparently, people with little small hands use. And,
Are you going back to there?
No. I mean, listen, I'm not going back to the restaurant, but I'm not going back to the bathroom.
No.
But anyway, they. Yeah, it's just horrible. I just don't get like why we can't like just as a society treat the bathroom the way you treat it at home.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, that's kind of my little gripe right now, which actually is funny because it kind of goes into the news story.
Oh yeah, it does.
That we're about to talk about. Yeah. Jerry, do you got anything to complain about? It could be anything non-poop related.
No, I'm not.
You have nothing to complain about?
No.
Life is peach.
Yeah,
That's great.
Okay,
Cool.
Yeah, chug it along.
That's good.
I'm hoping to stay the same side of the grass for a few more years.
Yeah,
Cool.
well, that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. You're on the back nine, but we're going to lengthen this back nine out.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 36 holes.
It's a long game. I like it. Well, I guess, we'll get into news right now.
We're getting into the news. So, Dad, every week, or except for last week, because our guest was so compelling, we didn't need to read the news.
A lot of intensity.
Yeah, episode 10 was woo! So we usually end the show with what's happening in the news about poops and farts. And surprisingly, we find multiple it gets to a point where we have maybe 3 to 5 articles a week.
There's
to
so
choose
much
from.
going on.
Yeah. There's a lot
can
in
imagine.
poop and fart. And this is regular news. And this one was...
This was in the New York Times.
Yeah, this was the New York Times.
This was the New York Times today.
Yeah.
March 27th, 2019, by Andy Newman and Anna Fota. The title, Subway Bathrooms. Are they as bad as you think? Which, I think this is this is obviously more of a fluff piece for the New York Times, but it's really fun. But it also is like, if you live in New York, you already know the answer to that question.
Well, I've been living in New York for 22 and a half years. I have never seen a public bathroom.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm a little bit like surprised. But maybe if I did, it's something like in the 22 and a half years I've been living in New York, I've just blanked it out like I do like cat calling. Like it's getting to the point where I'm like, I would never use that. I would pretend it doesn't exist.
I've seen them. Like I've seen like the sign, you know, to like, but I'm like, that's just not an option to me. Like that's just, I would rather shit in my pants than go to the New York City subway bathroom.
But the Center Park.
Well, we're talking about just strictly like
in the subway.
In the subway system.
And not in the actual cars where you like stand on the platform.
Yeah. So these two reporters, and there's been a bunch of articles about this before, but I thought this was really funny. They were just talking about like subways have long been occupied in the inner ring of the city's underworld. Each grim, battered door, a portal to a multi-sensory nightmare. Which I thought was a great way to start this thing. Which is true, though. I mean, like, if you live in New York and you've seen, like, a public bathroom door, like, sometimes it looks like a murder scene was, like, right in front of the door.
Yes.
And we haven't even got inside yet. So these people did the work for us. They started off with Times Square. I'm not rushing through, but I'm, like, kind of paraphrasing through some of this stuff and pulling out parts that were kind of funny.
Well, people can read the article.
Exactly. I mean, you can find it in the Times. But Times Square, which, if you don't know, in New York City, pretty much every train stops in Times Square. It's a huge hub.
And every tourist is there, too, so...
Yeah, so if you think about it, like, the MTA's official count, they're saying, like, with operative restrooms, there's at least one per gender in 51 of the 472 stations. That's only 51, like, bathrooms out of 472 stations, which is kind of crazy. So, and there's an average of 5.6 million riders each weekday. So each bathroom can accommodate 53,000 riders. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's about one bathroom for every 53,000 riders.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Then nobody's going to
so no one's, I mean, my guess is no one's really using these things because, again, like, unless you're just like a complete psycho.
Maybe it's for the people who work there more than anything.
I think there's a lot of that, yeah. But anyway, they went to Times Square. They basically said, like, it had a touch of class. There was a guard that sits in a booth and buzzes you in one at a time. Or not, sorry. Buzzes you into one of the 4 single occupancy restrooms where there's a 5-minute time limit.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's someone's job is to go in there and be like, hey, man, you've been in there too long. And you're like, look, this is, I swear to God, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm not shooting up.
My boyfriend would not be able to do that because his poops are the minimum of 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm there longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in that kind of situation, I just don't want to be rushed. Yeah, number one only.
Yeah.
I mean, or just go between the cars, which I have done that before. Subway cars.
You pooped between
No. I'm pissed. I didn't, no, I don't have that kind of... That's not happening. I'd have to be, like, just drugged. And, like, again, when you go see this actual article online, you can see, like, the photos they have attached. Obviously, this is a radio or a podcast, so you can't really... It's not really visual. But, for a public restroom in the subway, it doesn't look that bad. It's all that kind of military-grade aluminum brushed... they're basically saying that stainless steel sinks, the toilet gave off a penitentiary kind of vibe.
Whoa.
But was reasonably clean.
Oh, that's good to know. It was
the only station on the tour that supplied all the basics of personal hygiene. Though none of the stations had any tampons or pads. Huh. So we have to work on that, people.
Yes. There should be no tax on tampons.
The next station they talked about was 125th. So that's in Harlem for anybody who doesn't know.
Which is also a busy hub because you can get to Metro North.
Mm-hmm. The A, B, C, D lines. It starts off with maximum security steampunk. In the men's room, the toilet paper rolls are actually hung up by these sort of like metal chains and a padlock. And I'll show
I guess people try to steal them
on the show. Like, yeah, so basically they're just like, people are just trying to rip off toilet paper rolls, so they just instead put it on a chain padlock like into the
and the way
tile.
that it's hanging almost more vertical than horizontal, the roll, so it's not
no up or down.
There's no over versus under in this situation.
Yeah, so that kind of
I kind of want to see that in person. Maybe we need a field trip.
I mean, the bathroom has got graffiti on it. It's not like a single stall. It's a bigger stall. Like a single serve kind of one.
I'm farting while you're telling this story. I just wanted to add that. I have to...
You were...
Yeah, it was a little longer than that. I should have done it in the mic, but I didn't want to interrupt
We have
you.
to get the fart mic going.
Oh, I think it's a little stinky too because I have to use the bathroom, but I'm waiting for you to get through the news.
Well, I'll go through this one story, and if you want to, we could kind of cut back to it. But basically, there was a person in there, a 30-year-old welder, that was saying, "It's not looking too pleasant to me right now." He'd only give his name Michael. But Michael did say the missing soap dispenser was a deal breaker. That should be illegal. And it should be.
Yes, 100%.
There were some wet newspapers like in the women's bathroom, just like all like sort of piled up. One was dry, the other was a blob atop a yellow spread of wet newspaper.
Oh my goodness.
So gross. One of the correspondents, one of the writers of the article, Anna Fota, she had written, "There was no coat rack on the stall door, leaving the reporter to choose between putting her handbag on the floor or clenching the strap in her teeth." A fellow customer left without flushing, glancing at the sink on her way out. That's, yeah.
I mean, I have been in that situation before, both situations. Number one, I will hang my purse around my neck. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
I'll just let it dangle that way.
But if you have a small, like, purse or clutch or, like, bag or something that doesn't have a wide, like, handle or something to strap around your neck, I mean, yeah, you're just going to have to hold it on your lap. Do something.
You figure it out. You do not put it on the floor.
Especially a subway public bathroom, like MTA
I don't even like putting
floor.
my purse on the floor in my own home.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just think that's dirty. But number two, yes, there is occasionally I'll be in a public bathroom that I'll be like, I don't know if I want to wash my hands in that sink. It looks like my hands will get dirtier. But I always have Purell or hand sanitizer on me.
Yeah.
So
that's a game changer.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if people are going to look at me weird for not washing my hands, but fuck them.
You know what? Or just slather it in front of everybody.
Yeah. Or like, I'll do the hand sanitizer like as I'm leaving.
Right.
Yeah, because I would rather do that than some of those dirty public sinks.
Oh yeah, I mean they're disgusting. Again, my whole gripe with public bathrooms. But she did also mention at the same station, the 125th Street station, that the urine smell in the women's bathroom was a little more subtle than the men's, but it was still staggering.
Ooh.
So urine town. I'll just read one more here. Norwood, 205th Street in the Bronx on the D line. This is the best. I starred this. I put a little note next to it. The cracked concrete floor in the men's room looked like it had not been mopped in years. Ooh. But on one plus side, on the frigid day of our visit, the room was toasty hot. Okay, so that leads into my next section right here about that. So hot that someone had wedged takeout Chinese food between the scalding radiator and wall, possibly to keep it warm.
Oh, whoa.
A full container of shrimp fried rice and brown breaded nuggets.
So they were heating up their food in the public bathroom.
Yeah, it was so hot. But the environment was reminiscent of a tropical monkey habitat at the Central Park Zoo. That is the best description.
Fantastic. You go right straight there.
Fantastic.
If you've ever been in a zoo, you know that.
Yeah. So that's a little quick blast about that article. Subway bathrooms, are they as bad as you think? I would say yes. But it kind of makes me want to go visit some of these, just for like purely research.
I like that you called it a blast. I did use a public subway bathroom in Japan last year. And with most of Japan, I had to go really badly. I just didn't have a choice. Thankfully it was only pee. But most of Japan, everything was so insanely clean. Like, even like the streets you could eat off of. It was so clean. Except for I, of course, went into the one. I think I went into 2 subway bathrooms on my trip. But I went into this one that only had a Turkish toilet. And I hate Turkish toilets.
It's a squat, right?
It's basically like a hole. Yeah. It's like a ceramic hole in the ground.
There's a lot of places in the world that's what it is.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, but like no matter what you do, it just sprays off the porcelain onto your shoes and everything else. I didn't have a choice.
And if you suck at squatting, you're not gonna have a good time.
Oh my god, completely. But yeah, but otherwise, and also talking about things that are Japanese, we went to a Japanese restaurant here in New York last night, and they had a Toto toilet. Oh. And even my boyfriend was like, luxury.
Yeah. That's what I'm about. I really want one of those.
Oh, dreams. Dreams do come true,
Yeah, if
right?
we can get sponsored by Toto, I'm just saying, we'll do a plug every 5 minutes.
I want to
We'll
go.
work it into the show somehow.
Yeah, I want to go to Japan and go through the Toto factory and meet all those genius people.
Yeah. I'd even take one where one of the features was broken. Like they're like, we didn't sell this one because, or like there was some like little minor defect. I'm like, I will take that.
Yeah, a refurbished
How much will
one?
it cost to ship this to the U.S.? Because if I can get this thing like at a discount,
A refurbished Toto?
yeah. I mean, if it still works,
Yeah, as long as the bidet function. You could do without the hot air function.
I don't care about. The dryer, whatever. But yeah, as long as the bidet function's working and like I can choose like my pressure. I'm
Or
good.
the sound function when it plays
Yeah, I don't
music
care about that.
to
I don't need a light. I don't need sound. If you just were to tell me like you can get rid of those and like give you like a half off or 80% off, I'm like I'm there.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So
Did you go to the bathroom at the Japanese restaurant last night, Dad?
Yeah.
Do you remember the toilet? It was a Toto toilet where you even, just to lift the lid up and down, you push a button.
Well, I think I just took a leak.
No. Wow.
I wasn't a full.
But my boyfriend, who's not into potty humor, he came out of the bathroom and he's like, "Oh, they got a Toto." Like he knew.
yeah, he knew.
He knew.
I mean, that is luxury.
Yeah. Oof.
It's like riding in a
Dreams.
Benz or a BMW or a Bentley.
Oh yeah, of toilets.
Sorry, it's Bentley.
It's the Bentley of toilets.
It is.
Yeah.
I have like a Honda Civic, which are great, but
Get you from point A to point
yeah,
B.
just average run of the mill.
Yeah, it's much better than what some third world countries.
Oh
have.
yeah, no, I mean compared to squatting over a hole, like it's luxurious, but I'm talking about us here in New York City right now. I'd love to have a Toto.
Oh
Just
my
saying.
God, dreams,
We can figure that out.
goals.
But yeah, that was the news.
Thank you, Dad, so much for being a part of our Poopy Podcast.
Yeah, thanks Jerry for coming.
I'm so glad you met Dave, my co-host,
And,
my pooper in crime.
Pleasure to meet you, and I'm really happy that you came, and you have a great sense of humor.
Well, I had a great time.
Aw.
Thanks to you, I understand how funny farts and poop is, and it was able to blossom my humor into this podcast. So, if it wasn't for you farting in my face when I was a baby, I would not be here right now.
Yeah, so we have to thank you.
Yeah.
Also, that should be like a ABC after school special.
The more you know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so funny. But anyway, thanks for listening.
Yes.
Keep rating us, downloading
Yes.
on iTunes. Follow us everywhere. We're pretty much on all platforms, I think.
We in coming weeks we are going to start doing competitions. But we'll mail you stuff. We're not going to tell you what we're going to mail you. But the only way to win these competitions if you email us your craziest poo and fart stories.
We'll read them on air.
Yes, we will read them on air. So please, if you have a really funny poop or fart story, heypoopypodcast@gmail.com. We want to know all about it.
And you can win some free stuff.
Yes.
Our first giveaway. We're really excited. Big things are happening, people.
Yes.
All right, so until next time, I'm Dave, and that's
Ellen.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
This has been real shitty.
You ain't shit.
That's great.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Shooting the Shit. We are on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Please rate, review, download. It really helps to get more listeners. Plus, tell all your friends about us. And
For more about Shooting the Shit with Dave and Ellen, you can check us out at heypoopypodcast.com. For questions, product reviews, information, please email us at heypoopypodcast@gmail.com. And you can see us on Instagram at heypoopypodcast.
theme song by Jordan Pearlson. Hey, Poopy.
Oh, that one's gross.
Very wet.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
I'm just, trying to find a place with like-minded people to talk about like-minded things about me, about poop and stuff.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
Oh man, what's this right here? Is this a podcast about poop?
Bye.